Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the greatness of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas and the surrounding areas. People, places, experiences. Hot Springs Village is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and my co-host Dennis Simpson as we engage in weekly conversations to explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live at kvre.com. RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village. The award-winning RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village is the largest real estate office inside the village with over 30 full-time agents and support staff. Visit them to learn more about this beautiful place to solve your real estate needs. Call them today at 1-800-364-9007. Find them online at explorehsv.com. They are RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village at 1-800-364-9007 or online at explorehsv.com. Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Ike has qualified for State Farm's President's Club, Chairman's Circle, and Hot Springs Village Insurance Agent of the Year. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there.
Mr. Ken Unger joins us today, and we're going to talk about the anatomy of a pothole. Right, Ken?
Absolutely.
and here's my read on it real quick. Here's what I think happens. You have blistering hot summer for 5 months. You have a little break, but you have pretty good rain in that period. Then at the end of the year, you have a torrential downpour that brings down lots of trees. Then right after that, before the pavement gets good and dry, you have freezing rain and you have snow that goes to nearly zero temperatures for 4 or 5 days. And after that, then you have a deluge of rain. Is that about the right anatomy?
That's a perfect recipe for potholes. Yes.
It really does sound like it. You know, and it would be.
Yeah, it would be.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say it would be unique if it were the village and something we did, but it's everywhere. It's all across the state, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I saw those reports where cars were just strewn along Route 30, where they hit some major potholes and obtained flats, damaged their rims. You hear reports down getting to Hot Springs and back where 5 and 7 are potholed. Up in Little Rock, they're dealing with it as well. So this climate, what happened over that last week again was really a perfect recipe for potholes, and basically it divulged the weak areas of our pavement. I mean, that's what it does. It basically says, here's where you need to focus because this is the areas that are not, have issues, either have, cracks where this stuff's, water's getting in or, you had sub-base issues that manifest themselves when you have these conditions. So it helped define our road program this year.
As if we needed any more help, right?
Yeah.
But is this like where there's alligatoring, and alligatoring is where it looks like the back of an alligator? It kind of breaks up in little blocks. And when water gets in there and freezes, I guess it's kind of done.
Yeah, and those areas are already gone. So you kind of know ahead of time that those areas are weak. But what you see in this environment is, and that's why we spent a lot of effort to try to crack seal DeSoto, last year and this year, because those fine cracks that you don't really see by the naked eye, that's where in environments like this and really what happened here was the freeze thaw. So we had situations where the ice hit, the snow hit, then it thawed a little bit, and then it refroze. And when the water gets under the pavement there and it freezes, that's when it starts popping up. And if you have surfaces like we do with this micro surfacing, super pave where it's only 3/4 of an inch thick, And frankly, we found even other layers now that where they probably weren't tacked right. I mean, you literally, if you ask Todd, you could go down some parts of DeSoto with a shovel, or he was even using a blower, and the pavement was actually raising off the layer below it.
Really?
So, yeah, so we were able to identify some of these areas where the secondary layer of pavement that maybe was an overlay done 15 years ago is kind of loose from the substrate below it. So,
Right.
And it's really, like I said, it tells you where you have to fix stuff, and that's going to narrow our program down to repairing these areas of DeSoto, Balearic, Barcelona, where the super pave is weak, and it's just it's going to come up. It's going to come up as the weather changes. It's already been damaged now from this, and you can expect potholes galore moving forward. So.
Well, so yesterday we're recording this on Friday, and it's the 26th, I believe. Yeah, and
Yep.
I guess it was yesterday. Yes, yeah, yesterday or Wednesday. They had part of DeSoto, roughly from the pickleball court to the golf course, halfway down the golf course on DeSoto, closed down into one lane, and they were patching. And I thought, number one, I thought, well, wow, these guys are really on it. But number two, I thought, man, how do you take relatively moist asphalt and put hot patch on top of it and try and get it to bond together to the old stuff? I mean, is it an endless cycle?
Yeah, I mean, we're not, what we're doing right now is temporary. It's to, avoid residents from, feeling the bump and in the worst case ones, obviously potentially causing damage. So we don't expect necessarily the cold patch material we're putting out there to last very long. I mean, hopefully it lasts long enough for things to dry out. We'll get a sense after it dries out how bad it is. And then, we already have the board approved earlier this month our initial parts of our paving contract. And we're going to wind up using it to mill and replace some of these sections where, we would just expect the potholes to continue. Much like Barcelona, that section of Barcelona that just kept happening. Yeah. That's what's going to happen on these sections now. Now that the pavement's been basically been exposed, you're gonna see more and more. Every time it rains, we'll have water getting in there. So, yeah, it's just one more thing that we weren't expecting, but hey.
C'est la vie, right?
Yeah, we'll deal with it.
Just and to catch on here real quick. I mean, the side roads. I'm on Sierra, just off DeSoto. Castellon's just up the way. These roads don't look like they took that kind of damage, but they don't get that kind of traffic, right?
Yeah, and they also probably don't have the layers of pavement, like I said, that DeSoto does, right? So DeSoto over the years has had multiple layers of pavement applied to it. And that's where, same thing with Barcelona and Balearic. And that's where, you're seeing this top layer, whatever it was that was laid down, is starting to fail and water gets into it. So, in most of the side roads on the village, from what and there's some exceptions to that for sure, but, you may still have the original 2 to 3 inches of pavement that was originally put down. And if the subbase was rock when it was laid down, that's why that pavement's held up for as long as it has. And there's nothing for the water to really get under. It's basically the last layer of pavement. So not that it can't fail.
Well, and I'm sorry, Ken, we're breaking up just a little here.
It will in the situations where you have multiple layers of pavement on top of one another. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like I said, right. I mean, it really comes down to the layers of pavement.
Wow.
Can you hear me?
Well, I was going to ask. So Barcelona, DeSoto, and Balearic, are they essentially highway grade? I mean, were they built like a highway?
No. I mean, most of the village, especially the secondary roads, there's 2 inches over top of whatever was there. DeSoto maybe had 4 inches. I mean, if you look at some of the cross sections that we saw, you may wind up having 6 in some areas because they've overlaid it several times. Right. Same thing with Balearic, it's between 4 to 6 inches. But it wasn't designed, none of our roads were designed for really, in my opinion, the type of loads that we experienced here in the village, especially the main roads. And that's something we have to look at, but the types of traffic we're getting in here on top of these roads. And that's why I did that full depth reclamation trial on Madeiras, because, it was to try to create a cross section that was economical to effect and cost effective to do, to hopefully come up with a cross section base of 12 inches of mixed up stuff with concrete and then 2 inches of pavement on it that would hold up like you're paving over rock. Is
Yeah, well, but
effectively what we
and is that standard, the 12 inches and 2 inches of paving on top of it? Is that kind of highway?
Well, if if you looked at more on 4, you have a 2-inch surface course. Look what they did on 5, right? They had a gravel base of maybe 6 inches, 7 inches, depending on the subgrade. They'll have maybe 2 layers of coarse aggregate or coarse base. So you probably have 4 inches of coarse base and then a top coat on that, a 2-inch top coat on that. So most cross sections of pavement are anywhere from about 10 to 12 inches in full depth between the aggregate sub-base paving and then the final paving, which is supposed to be your drivable, smooth layer of pavement. That in the village, most of our paving is really surface course paving. There is no structural base paving, and structural base paving has a bigger aggregate in it that basically provides that support for the tires and the load that's on it. That surface course is really just for drivability. It's just to make it smooth. So. But we don't have the sub base. We don't have sub base paving here. We have basically surface course on top of whatever's there. So
wow. So what would you say to the average villager? Be patient. We're working on this. We're going to start as soon as it dries out. Maybe spring.
We've already
spring.
started. I mean, we will.
Really?
DeSoto's almost done. Next week we'll be focusing on Balearic and then Barcelona. There's going to be potholes in other places. People are just going to have to be patient.
Thanks for watching and listening to Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a weekly podcast starring Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Visit the website at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com.